Hello, social media. We are now live. Welcome, social media. Welcome.
Are you going to do our read-in?
Sure, I could try it.
Okay. And
Do you think I have the right voice? Hey everyone, it's Ted. Happy Friday, Ted.
so, hey everyone. It's that
Hello.
time of the day or week, I guess, when In the Know with Steph and Joe, our producer, is MIA. So the inmates are running the asylum.
In the Know with Steph and Joe. Kent, where are you? Kent? Yes, I have to say that. I might have been absent for a couple of shows. I appreciate everybody holding it down in the studio. I'm happy to be back. Let's give a shout out to our sponsors. First one, Epic Media. When you're truly authentic, there can be no competitors. With the continued growth of technology these days, it is essential that you have an effective internet marketing strategy in place for your business. Whether you need a custom website designed or help integrating your social media accounts to your business marketing program, epicmedia.com is the company you want to rely on for your business. Get a hold of them at epicmediainc.com. And then obviously Restoration One of Cary, that's 847-264-4664. And
Steph's bookkeeping service at stephsbooks.com or 847-942-3004.
Excellent.
So I guess bear with us since I'm clicking and this mouse is very sticky for some odd reason.
Kent, what are you watching?
But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about churn and burn versus slow and steady and kind of what that means to you when you hear that. Like, what's your first thought? Where does it go? And how does it relate to your business internally and externally?
Right. So where do we start? I mean, should we start at the beginning of the machine?
Yeah. That probably works. Yeah.
Right. So marketing to me is marketing starting at the beginning of the machine. First thing I think of for churn and burn on marketing is going out and blasting, your brand, your name everywhere, buying a bunch of, I don't know, trinkets and whistles and doodads and pens and magnets and whatever, and going and leaving them in every, in business cards and leaving them everywhere, and like churn and burn, like you're just out there spreading your love of your brand.
Are you one of those people that are guilty of putting your business card on those little cork boards at like restaurants or like the Jewel or anything?
No.
I have.
You have?
In various states too.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, next question. Did that turn out to do anything?
Not yet.
Okay.
But I mean, it's one business card, so really, how much that really cost me?
What state is that in?
Well, in probably like 6 different states. I've done it in like Arizona.
So that's 6 business cards.
Yeah, like Missouri.
That adds up.
California. I don't know, wherever we're at, and they're like, "Oh, we'll drop a business card." Okay, or here, put your card up on our cork board.
I can't do that because I can't operate in multiple states like you can.
But yeah, so I just leave, or I'll do the trade a pen. Like if we're at a restaurant, I'll leave my business pen in the little in the thing for the when you sign your check.
Yeah.
And I'll take their pen. They're like unidentified pen.
Fair enough. Okay.
And I'll trade the pen.
So churn and burn now, do you get stuff from your trinkets? Do you get jobs from your trinkets?
Nobody's directly said that, oh my God, this was the most amazing pen or whatever I've put together. The only thing that people have said is like amazing is when my mom made those chocolate calculators and we put our logo on it.
Which is kind of a little more planned. So wouldn't that be more of like a plant to seed and grow? Like you're actually putting a little more thought and effort into that trinket. So would that be a churn and burn? To me, like when it comes to marketing things like that, there's so much that you can do. And then when it comes to marketing or whatever, that plant a seed in my mind is more of the building relationships with people, and that developing the relationship to where they now trust you, they know, like, and trust you, and they feel comfortable referring you on a regular basis. You don't have to put any money or effort into that relationship. It's there.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
Like for me, when you say churn and burn and marketing, I automatically think back 4 years ago when we opened up Steph's Books, and Rich and I had no clue how to bring people in. So we just threw stuff at the wall, and whatever stuck, and whatever didn't.
Yep.
And it was a very fast-paced learning environment
Yep.
for us. And there was quite a bit of money invested in things.
You can say spent.
Yeah, so it was very interesting. There's a very good learning experience. So for me, the churn and burn when marketing was, we put together a bunch of postcards our first 3 months into business, and we blasted out, we targeted and bought lists and whatever, and we blasted it out to a bunch of people in the area. And the only person that called me from the postcard was a marketing company that did business cards, because they felt like my
yours was shitty, and they wanted to help you out.
Yes. So, and I made it myself, so I thought it was amazing. But
of course you did. Well, see, and in my mind of churn and burn for marketing is throwing money to like pay-per-click. Right? Or going out there and trying to blast the internet with a bunch of money, or maybe like putting commercials or billboards out or something like that, going, hey, I'm just going to throw money over here and see what I can blanket and bring in. Where, anything closely related, you can use a little trinket, I guess, to, get somebody to pay attention to you and get your foot in the door, and then you build the relationship. But my thought was always like those internet blasting things that.
Oh, we should put Tim. What does Tim Santos
trinkets say? Tim Santos says trinkets are fun, but leads to more junk in your car than anything else. Tim, you just have to clean your car out, and you got to give away things to fun people like myself. I like them. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
I wanted to make sure I yelled so that way she heard me. And since Kent's not here, I can. He won't tell me I'm wrong.
I like my trinkets. I know I spend like quite a bit of money. I mean, I haven't had to buy anything for a little while because I went a little crazy for a period of time. So I have like a good
stockpile.
Yeah. So
well, and your mom helps you with the with what you had, right? Well,
she just sent 200 more chocolate bars.
Where's mine?
They're at my house in the freezer. So yeah, my mom made more chocolate bars, and but yeah.
Eric said you went crazy a little.
Yeah, Eric's seen my office. But I mean, like, so I had those like Yeti cups, I have pens, I have probably like 4 or 5 different kinds of pens. I had those color changing cups. I had
color changing cups. I think I have 4 or 5 at my house.
So I have like those. I did Hawaiian lays for the golf outing.
That's right.
So I have T-shirts. I have
listen. You want to talk? Cards, you want to talk trinkets? Stuff. You want to talk trinkets? We do trinkets every year. We buy whistle. We've bought at least 3. I can think of at least 3 different types of whistles. Thank you. I got an eyebrow raise. For those that didn't see that, I got an eyebrow raise out of Steph for buying 3 different types of whistles. We've bought whistles 3 times and given them out, and they're all 3 different types. So, yeah, I get it. We buy trinkets.
I think one of the best things I saw was at a golf outing, and someone got like these neon colored golf tees with their logo on it, and they were like really cheap. And people like loved them, and like they took handfuls of them and put them in their actual golf bags. So that's something that somebody actually really liked and wanted. Like you could get ones that are like orange, like electric orange or or blue or whatever. Yeah, because they had electric like green or whatever. So
I love that. Who had those?
Another restoration company. They were my partner.
I think I know who it was.
My partner in crime.
Yeah. Crime is right. Yeah, I believe that. Love you, April. Eric says a little crazy. Yes, she is crazy. What else does he say? Steph's whistles would be for something a bit different. I could say something, but it's a little too public, and I can't. What I would
Eric,
anyway.
why
we're
don't
moving
you
on from
talk
that,
about
so-
your business, Eric, and talk about the things and the trinket? Because I know you got hats, hoodies, shirts, pens. I know I got a pen from you, and it was a really nice one. So I know he spends more than the 72 cents per pen.
Eric, so if you have hoodies, I am willing to swap, do a hoodie swap, so that way you get one of mine and I get one of yours. I'm a men's medium.
Because
medium.
I think Tom Odell is making Eric's hoodies. I think I could be wrong though.
Nice,
but
yeah, I want a hoodie. If you're willing to do a swap, Eric, let's talk about it. Let's move a little bit, shift gears down the machine, I guess, if you will, and move into. I mean, I have kind of like the client interaction, doing a little bit of your, if I were to show up to a house and we were to come in, run in, and be like, oh yeah, that's this, that's that, and this, and this, and blah blah, and we're out and we're on to the next one, right? We could probably hit a lot of jobs. But would we land as many jobs as we should?
Well, so like when you guys go, do you and Carrie track your percentage of conversion from a bid to a sale to all of that?
Not yet.
Because Rich and I, we track. So we have probably 30 different marketing names listed in our CRM from different networking groups, different chambers, different, paid things that we're doing. And then we identify those, and our pricing calculator on our website also helps to identify some of where they came from.
That. Yeah.
And so then from there, we see what's working, and then we see if those are qualified leads, because we look at the conversion rate based upon those marketing strategies.
So we just found a CRM that works with our job scheduling and documentation, and kind of is a end all be all. Oh, thank you, Eric. Hoodies are in the works. I love that. So we have worked on. So we found one that encompasses, isn't a separate tool that we have to add into. It encompasses all of our tools and apps that we need to encompass into one, and includes the CRM. So we are utilizing that, and in hopes we would be able to pull that kind of information pretty soon. But we have a very good idea that, because we know how many times we go out and send a guy out an estimate, we could pull our timesheets and know this is how many estimates we've done, this is how many jobs we've produced, right? So we could pull kind of some information, but we don't have full
I mean, like for you, for example, in your industry, in theory, somebody is going to be kind of more a one and done client for you. Like in theory,
that's everybody's hope.
Right.
Everybody hopes they're one and done for us, right?
So it's like in theory, like you land this job, this is probably going to be the one and only time, hopefully, that you step foot on their property for a catastrophe. Unless it's like a hoarder clean out, then you're going to be back. But
well, large jobs we're back multiple times. Hoarders maybe, but usually by the time we get called in, it's usually the kids that have to deal with the hoarder situation in that kind of fashion. But there are homes that are going to be prone and subject to
like flooding,
frequent flooding of their basement, just due to the ground layout, the topography around them, right? So I mean there's homes that you're like, we're gonna be back. Here's my card.
Or you just put one of these fancy signs.
Yeah, close this off. Or if they got some reckless kids, or it's an old house, or people are whatever, there's times where we know we're going to be back multiple times, but there's also times where we've walked away from some beautiful homes and we go, oh man, I'm so sorry. And then, the next year they're calling us again going, I can't believe this is happening again. I need you guys again. And we have now clients that we've gone out at least 3 times.
Really?
To the same house.
Well, I mean, like for me, like I hope and assume that every client we land is going to be month over
Repeat.
month,
Yeah.
and we're going to
Repetition.
maintain like several
Right.
years of service.
Right.
And the intent is for us not to be one and done on a project or on a service or whatever.
Totally.
And so some other people, well, I went to a QuickBooks conference, and like a guy was speaking at the conference, and his way that he grew his business bookkeeping firm was that he bought up a bunch of other bookkeeping firms across the US. So he had different time zones, different
Right.
things. And then his plan was if he could retain 70% of that company that he bought, then he would consider it a win. And he just kept it going. Like, he wasn't necessarily so, I'm not going to say he was bad at customer service, because he probably wasn't,
He wasn't
but
focused on it.
wasn't right. It wasn't his top like 3
Yeah,
for
he's not
client experience.
He's not looking to retain everybody. He's like, oh, if you're out, you're out. But as long as he can retain most of it, he's good.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's kind of how he ran his business and did his everything that he structured, and he grew really rapidly, really fast. And that was kind of like a churn and burn, because you're kind of like, you had a high turnover of clients at points in time, and then you're also growing organically and naturally as you would just from getting your name out there and word of mouth. But like, that method, I don't know. Like, I told Rich that if I had the capital to do that, I don't know if I would still do it. Like, something about it would just scare me. Like, to take on and onboard like 40 clients or something at once. Like, if I bought a small firm and I onboarded 40 to 100 clients at once.
You would have the employees and the resources from that firm that's already handling those 40 clients or whatever it may be.
Not necessarily, because it could have been a one-man band or one-woman show, and there's no employees, and I'm just buying up somebody that that maxed the company out to their own capacity, and then now I have to have my team split that out, or I need to hire somebody and split that out. In some situations, you can gain an office and a team if you buy a bigger firm. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it really is all about, how you want to do it. I was part of a company that did a churn and burn, and they were out buying companies left and right. That was when I was in insurance.
Hi, Lisa.
And it was interesting to see them grow. It was interesting to see the faults of it. However, the benefits tended to outweigh in that situation.
Yeah.
Because we were gaining as an insurance company, we were gaining more premium written and more, a bigger stock of company as a whole. So that therefore we had more buying power and more leverage out in the market. So we could leverage other carriers to do things that we wanted them to do, because we had so much buying power with all the premium that we wrote through our doors. So there was really quite the difference between that and like how you could easily go out and, as you say, buy other companies, but losing a lot of your stock may not be the best bet always. I think I like the slow. It depends on how big you want to get, how fast, how much money you got, right?
Right. Yeah. Like I'm saying, if I had the capital to go up and buy 5 or 6 bookkeeping firms across the US, and you figure whatever, I don't know, we'll say that they're about $200,000 a piece. If I want to buy something that comes with staff, like that's a lot. And then that's like a lot of onboarding, and then getting people like accustomed to like your policies and procedures, your software, your everything, but you're not so hyper focused on retention, because that maybe that 70% that you're going to retain is enough to offset that
cover expenses
investment
and make a margin.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Interesting. All right, moving on. What's the next subject?
What?
Do you remember one? Do we have hello sis?
Good stuff, guys, from Liz. Hi, Liz.
Hi, Liz. And then who's that?
Marie,
your sis?
That's my sister-in-law. Yeah.
Sister-in-law. Oh,
hi
Marie. Sister-in-law.
But yeah. So another thing that we were talking about in the green room was employees
Right.
and how that could either be a churn and burn or a slow grow or like invest. Like I feel that is such a double-edged sword. Like I feel like that is such a dangerous water to go into on this topic. I feel like because there's
Well, they're all right.
like not even saying anything about either one of our current staff and
Right.
their performance, just in general, when you look at the time that goes into putting a job ad together, doing all the interviews,
Mm-hmm.
then you think you found somebody and you bring them in.
Mm-hmm.
Then you invest all this time and money into making sure that they're up to speed, up to snuff, like ready to
Mm-hmm.
go.
Mm-hmm.
Then if they don't work out, then you're kind of like, Rich refers to it as Captain Save-A-Ho is what he refers to it as when you start getting into that territory with an employee where you know you need to cut ties, but you feel like you're at some tipping point because you've invested so much and there's no way that they can't, like, by next week they have to grasp it because like there's
They're
no
right
way
there, right? Right.
like they just need to just do one more
They
thing.
can do it. They can do it.
So it's like, at what point then do you do that? But then you also look at companies that have such a high turnover for whatever the various reason. Either the owner just wants to, they see it and they're like, you know what, this person is not a good fit, and they just cut them loose. Or the staff is like, this is not the environment I signed up for, and then they leave.
Right.
So it's like, what is the lesser of two evils in that environment? That's like a very difficult thing.
And like, well, so here's what I'm gonna say. There, and I'm gonna quote. He's not a very famous person. He's in fact not super famous at all. He's a little elusive. His name is Jay Holland. He is a one of the corporate people in Restoration One franchise. So he's a corporate head, and Jay Holland says,
was he on the whatever that show is, that Undercover Boss?
He was not.
Different guy?
Yeah, different guy. That was Gary Finland, our old CEO, former CEO, but he's still in the brand of Restoration One. But Jay Holland is he does a lot. He's very, very smart when it comes to books and your financials, and you'd actually really like him. He taught Carrie everything QuickBooks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's who taught Carrie. So Carrie might say, "Oh, Jay, I love Jay," right? Like, so Jay Holland, anyway. Anytime you ask him a question, and this is why I'm stuck on this, is because anytime you ask him a question, he says, "It depends," and then he looks at you and goes, just gives you this like shit-eating Texas grin. He goes, "It depends," and it's so funny because you want to, damn it, Jay, just give me a goddamn answer, but it depends on every situation, right? For most employees, if they're going to have to do something like your employees, they have to be aware of your clients' needs, aware of regulations, aware of, there is a plethora of variables that count for getting the job done for an employee of yours, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not much different for you because you guys got to do the safety. Like you did that whole thing on
just
safety,
PPE,
and
right?
yeah.
Just PPE, yeah,
Right.
Personal protective equipment, right? But I can teach people safety really quick, and my guys on the scene, because we're always going to have a supervisor there to watch them, right, and make sure they're doing things right. But then after that, it's all right. Go out and tear up the carpet. So you can kind of get in certain situations, you can get people, hey, I need you to pick up all this stuff and move it over to there. Well, I just give me some human beings that can lift stuff and move it, right? Like I can kind of churn and burn a little bit with that situation.
When I worked in construction, I hated that when I'm like, oh, we're taking apart this patio, so palletize these pavers and put them over here.
Well, I'm not
and then you get like
that
some people that like
literally make a heap,
don't understand how the game Jenga works, and then they like, and they also don't understand the capacity of a pallet, and they like make the tower as tall as me. Not that I'm tall, but that's too much for.
It's a lot for a pallet,
right?
Yeah. I get that. No, but like, well, what I'm saying though is, relatively speaking, there are times where you can throw somebody in to get their feet wet and get them to do some stuff, and churn and burn might actually show you their true colors, right? It might show you a little bit sooner than than when you're so invested in them, right? I could invest all this time to train somebody, and then when the shit hits the fan and we got to run out and it's 2 a.m. and this guy's over in the corner crying because he's tired and he's hungry and and I'd be like, all right, you're out. Wish I would have known that day one, right? Like that you can't handle running hard or whatever. Not that I want to sound like a big dick or whatever, but like, no, I want people to be able to understand that in the beginning. I want them to kind of jump in knee deep. They don't need to, be over their head, but they got to get in up to their knees and know what they're getting into.
Right.
What we do isn't easy. There are technical things that they're going to learn, and it's very easy to learn for a lot of people on the job, but it's hard for you because yours is a lot of like I said, regulations and following protocols.
I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously we know, I mean, from anybody that's watched the show, like I'm self-taught. So I taught myself QuickBooks. I taught myself accounting. And then I eventually, went on to school and was formally taught. And being formally taught is way different than like the reality of what happens in people's businesses and their books.
Yes.
We were just talking about it at my office, me and my staff the other week. We were talking about it because it's just like, I don't know if you ever took like Spanish class, like in high school. And
I did.
Okay, so when you get like formally trained, when you get formally trained in Spanish in your Spanish class, is very different than the slang that people actually speak in like out in the real world.
Totally,
it's like the same kind of. Yeah. Oh, you have a fan, Joe.
I do.
Looks like Kent is stuck in training and he wants to know, is that Joe?
Oh, Kent, if you were here and present, you would know that I am here and present as well. And it is not Joe, it's Joe. It's here. I want you to know that, Kent. But and where are you? I brought my cowboy boots just to show you.
I mean, like at the end of the day, for me, like debits are debits, credits are credits. Everything flows the same way in every single business, every single industry. There's not any exceptions to the way the debits and credits flow. It's not It's not possible for it to flow any other way. But each industry has its own little specific
quirks and nicks and yeah.
So just because if I hire somebody that's completely green, sometimes it's a little bit more of an advantage to me because then I could teach them they don't bring any other habits or environments or anything to the mix, and they can do it my way and with that specific client list that they're working on. If I bring somebody in that's got 10 plus years of experience, I know that it's not a mistake, but as a manager,
sometimes you have bad habits to break because
like I just didn't think about like the fact that like, oh, this is an experienced person, I'm just going to throw them into the fire and we're just going to get at it. And I felt like there were certain things when that happened with a previous employee that I failed them as a manager because because they know the debits and credits doesn't mean they know the quirks of all of these industries, because we work within 20 different industries at Steph's books. So it's very different in that aspect.
And that's like the intricacies of your thing. But like you can teach her the basics right off the get-go. But you still, no matter what, because of your industry, you have to invest, right? There's the range. And that's why I said, like, it depends on if you can throw them in, right, all the way up to their knees, or if you got to slowly walk them in and, slow and grow, plant slow and steady, plant the seed and let it grow. The people that come in to you that are so green, but have that really good mindset to pick things up really quickly, that's like the perfect employee, right? They're so green to your industry, so they know nothing, but they're so smart and have the wherewithal to pick it up real quick. that's like the perfect employee for anybody.
Right.
Right. But you're going to find the range of everybody that knows exactly what they're doing because they're experienced forever and they know exactly how to do it. And they're so experienced, but they don't do it the way you want it to be done. So that to me are the two ranges and everywhere in between. Right. There's so much more in between. So it depends on.
Well, I also think too, like, since I've been bookkeeping for so long, I've worked in maybe, probably like 7 or 8 different softwares.
Mm-hmm.
Like before I opened up Steph's Books, and then we've added some other software since.
Yep.
And I've worked in a few different industries. And so I'm the type of person that likes to dive in, break it, and then fix it. So like I like to see what it takes to break the machine.
Totally.
And
push
then
it to its limits.
And then I can rebuild it, because if it's broken and then I could problem solve it back into health, then I know that I fully understand the process from start to finish.
Totally agree.
And
push it to its limits.
Right. And not everybody has that confidence, or like whatever you want to call it, to do that. Like I've learned over my years that some people just like to be managed. They like you to tell them ABC, you do it in this order, and this is the end result you're going to get. But then when there's like a wild card of like
something random
XYZ,
right,
then they're stuck and frozen.
Do you find that helps you outside of work as well? That mentality of I'm pushing said X thing to its limits to find the breaking point. And I'm sorry, Rich, if this means you, but
yeah, I mean,
but like,
yeah, I'm a limit tester. Yeah.
You push the limits on everything you have, so that way you can find, how it functions, whether it be a human being or. Did you do that to your car? I feel like you're a safe driver.
Compared to Rich, yeah, super safe.
Right. Totally. But like
I'm like driving Miss Daisy safe.
Yeah, exactly. So there's certain limits you have on where you're not gonna go and push.
Well, like
push
my car, limits. I'm not gonna break my car because there's very few things I know how to fix on my car if I break it. And if I break it, it's very expensive, and I don't want to deal with that. But like,
so you push limits within your limits.
Environments.
Yeah.
Like work has always been something where I'll push my limit. I mean, working in the swim when I was late teen going into my early 20s, I was the only person in the whole entire company at the time that was cross-trained in 6 departments. And I was the only person at the time to ever work a 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. shift. Nobody else had like done it.
Yeah.
But like I needed money. And so if this is the way, I was a single mom at the time, and if that was going to get me the money and I had to work in 6 different departments in that day, then that's what I had to do.
Right.
And, so I've just.
So do you find that gives you a leg up quicker than most people?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure my mom could attest for this because I know she's listening. And some of my former managers, but I know that they're not on, I don't think, listening. I don't know. But I am the queen of bullshit. Like, I will sound so confident in a situation and have completely no idea, but I have enough common sense to sound logical to where it's believable. Walk away and then Google it.
Yeah.
And I will figure it out.
Okay.
But like,
we need to make our announcements actually for our company. So why don't you start first with yours?
So Steph Conley with Steph's Bookkeeping Service, stephsbooks.com, or 847-942-3004.
Joe Turner, Restoration 1, water, fire, smoke, mold, bio, trauma, all the gross stuff that you don't want to clean up. We will. 847-264-4664 or restoration1.com/carry, I think, is where you can find us as well. We also have got to give a big shout out to Epic Media. When you are truly authentic, there can be no competitors. With continued growth of technology these days, it is essential that you have an effective internet marketing strategy in place for your business. Whether you need a custom website designed or help integrating your social media accounts to your business marketing program, Epic Media is the company you want to rely on for your business, and visit them at epicmediainc.com. And Jess will give you a great help and is an awesome resource for all your marketing stuff. So,
Yeah.
all right.
And Marie says you have to mold your employees. So yes, like that is, but that's like a whole process in
I mean,
itself.
yeah, we believe. I think we always believe there's, and that's why I say I think it depends on what you're going to do, right? There's certain employees that if we hire them, we're like, ooh, we gotta walk them through slowly how to swing a hammer, right? Not that anybody should, but they may just never have done it. But then once they get the hang of it, they're off and running and they're doing real good, right? They just are very hesitant to starting, risk adverse to starting something new. But once they get into it, they can swing a hammer all day long. But then there's the guys that you can literally throw in because they've been swinging a hammer with their dad in the backyard for, 10 years. And they're like, I got this. I can go swing a hammer. Watch this. Boop, boop, boop. And they do everything. So you're like, great, throw them in. Now you just got to, at some point, you're going to have to plant the seed and help them grow and things like that, because not everybody that comes in is going to know everything you want done the way you want it done, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the bad habits, and the people that come in, they may know a little bit, but
What's something that you and Carrie look back on that was like, man, that was like a churn and burn in a bad way, and now you guys have edited to adapt to more of a slow and grow? Or it could be a good way too.
Good question. I mean, I can easily answer the better one. They're the what was good about churn and burn, but I mean, I guess at the same time, okay, I can answer both of them. So when we first started, it was 2017. We opened in like the beginning of June, and it was like July 2017. We got the most horrific rainstorms that we've had in a while. Even still to this day, I think we've had in a while. And there was not enough restoration companies, and we were on like the brink of closing. And Carrie's like, we're going under. We have no money coming in. We have no jobs. We have no this. She was freaking out. And we got these horrific rainstorms. There was more business than there was restoration companies out there. So our phones were ringing off the hook. It was churn and burn. It was literally go from job to job to job. It was myself and one other employee, and I drug him everywhere. I dropped him off. He was falling asleep in the van. I literally leave him in the van, run in and do a job, go to the next job. He'd be like, all right, we're here. He'd be like, I'd be like, yeah. He goes, holy crap, it's been 3 hours. And I go, yeah, I just did the other job. We're at the second job. Like, help me with the second job, right? And so we would literally, it was churn and burn, and we didn't. The good thing was we did enough business in that time to keep our doors open, to sustain us for a while, to really, like as a new company, you struggle to get business in, and all of a sudden we have an event that there's more business than there are companies than your competitors, right? Like everybody's swamped. So it really didn't matter. You could have just opened your business that day and you'd be getting calls, right? So it was really good. The bad part was we were so new, we made a lot of mistakes. And while nothing cost us closing our doors, right? There definitely were mistakes that we made that I look back on and I went, man, got to do this one different, got to do that one different. And you're never going to change everything all at once in an occasion like that, right? You're never going to go, oh, I'm changing all, these 12 things right now, right? It's like you just slowly had to pick off the biggest one that you needed to change, right? So like whatever it was, I think ours was the way we did documentation, because I was hand making all the documentation, like taking pictures from my phone into my computer, into a Word document, convert it to a PDF, add notes, convert it to a PDF, and then send it. So it was like such a long process that took us forever to send out like the first bill after that event, because it took me forever to like do all the jobs, then do the reports, then send it all out. Carrie had to, it was our processing, like how we did it. So there was a lot of learned experience, but that was churn and burn. We started getting calls. I think we got 20 calls in one night. And wow. I think we had one call. We had one call the entire 6 weeks before that we were open. So it was crazy. That event was insane. What did Mary Shep have to say? Oh, we do own up to ours. Yeah.
You have to read her comments so everybody out there on the radio knows what Mary Shep just said.
No, I don't have to. They got to tune in so they can read it for
Mary
us.
says mistakes are okay when you own up to them. They usually make you stronger and better. Yes. Yes, I have learned many lessons from
Your mistakes.
Yes.
What kind of mistakes have you made? And now churn and burn style, right? Like, have you made and then I'm going to ask you, have you made a plant and grow mistake?
Yes. To both, I guess. I feel like, I mean, as a business owner, or even somebody in management, you just really learn a lot from every experience that you have.
Yeah.
And I mean, like for us, I know that I learned my limit for capacity for onboarding. Even with 2 employees, I learned my limit, and I didn't stop the machine when I saw the cogs coming loose.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept pushing forward, and that was a mistake, and I regret it because we lost some clients for some stupid reasons that could have been prevented if I would have just slowed the machine down.
The conveyor belt is moving really fast, and the widget's like rolling on the conveyor belt, and then all of a sudden just rolls off the side of the conveyor belt.
Yeah. It was just like, remember like I Love Lucy and Lucille Ball, and she's got the conveyor belt, and she's like stuffing all the chocolates in her mouth and her shirt because they were going too fast. Yeah. Like I don't know if I'm dating myself, but that's like
you're not dating yourself that bad, but just the fact that you know it is enough to date yourself. My wife always, when I met my wife, she was going to Michigan State and she was an art student, and I came in one time, and she was doing slip casting, which is like a porcelain, it's like a real thin clay type thing, and she spilled it that night. And I walked into the art room that night because I got off of work. And then as long as you're in the building by midnight, you can be in there all night. And so I showed up to the building. It was like 12:31. She came to the door to open it, and she was head to toe covered in slip cast clay. Like, and she goes, she opened the door and was like, I Lucia bald. And I walk into the room and it was clay everywhere. I was floor, tables. It took us forever to clean that thing up. It took for that's when you mentioned that, I had PTSD of that situation. But yeah, when you said that.
So like I've learned that, but then on the flip side of it, I've learned where like we had a slow, steady growth, and there was times where I should have put a little bit of more fuel to the fire because we had something that was working, and I should have pressed more on it and got the thing chugging along versus, just letting it kind of happen at its own organic pace.
It's kind of like that, like, like when you're a kid and you're on your bike and you start to ride down a hill, right? And you start going, and you're going just fast enough that like you're kind of in that your butt puckers and you're in that oh shit moment. Like I'm going faster than I've ever gone before on my bike. So you're like your bike's taking you down the hill. Right.
And you're like, just please don't hit a pebble.
Right. But like that's like that perfect spot where you want to be, like in the middle of, going fast and churn and burn, but also that like I've worked on my bike. I've been riding my bike for years, so I can go fast and still maintain my balance and stability. But the faster I go, like you're pushing that limit each time. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you still have that control of that bike. Ish.
Yeah.
Ish. Yeah. And if you go too fast, then you don't want to be out of control. That's interesting. Okay. What was the other topic? We had one more thing to hit, didn't we?
I think, we hit on employee, but like, so what was one of the other things that we were talking about in the green room outside of, so like with your like marketing, like I was mentioning, like to circle back around to that, when Rich and I were like, when I have too many marketing and / branding things going at once, and some of the branding things really take time, as we all know, because those are your more no like and trust situations with networking groups and
Right.
chambers and all these different situations where, you know, or doing events or small business expos. It's a lot of time. And if you have so much over here of real, legitimate, tangible work, you know, you need to know when to pull back and what to pull back on.
Right.
And slow it
Right.
down a little bit, because you have all of this over here that you need to get moving along in a smooth fashion before you keep burning your time. Because I mean, my mom tells me all the time that she feels like I burn the candle at both ends.
Well,
A lot of times
you do, because you've sent me emails at 11 at night and at 3 in the morning.
Well, then maybe I'm just gonna put that like auto feature, and it will just
Uh,
pop
so-
them off at a normal like
8 a.m.
Yes.
Like, hi, Joe. Good morning.
and you will.
Bullshit. I know this came last night. Well, I was
Yeah.
listen. I can't argue. I was up at 4 this morning. But I had a massive headache yesterday, so I went to bed at like 2:30 in the afternoon, just face planting on my bed. And
So
didn't
like,
wake up.
like I know that you, when you have an idea in your head,
Mhm.
okay, like,
Mhm.
well, we could use the RV as an example, and you
Okay.
get like hyper focused,
Yeah.
okay, and that's your thing, and you're all about it. And Carrie's like, you know what? Let's just see. Let's just put together a budget. Let's do
Uh-huh.
this and this, and
Uh-huh.
it like slows you down a bit, because I know I do that to Rich too. Like where he has like these ideas for the business, and I'm like, whoa, let's, you know, have this little
Take the
bottleneck
time
here,
to,
this
like,
little thing
yep,
here.
yep.
You know, we'll paint this over here, just to buy me more time to get acclimated and used to the idea. How does that like make you feel as somebody that's like opposite, like, you know, than I
Well,
am
but
in
like,
those situations?
so I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm a different breed. I feel like I kind of am.
I mean, like you and Rich are very similar when you get like an idea and you want
I want to focus
to
on
cut it loose and just go.
Yeah. But I can also take a project and set it aside and have, you know, 6 or 7 projects cooking, be able to take one off the skillet, put another one right on, and then set that one aside, and then be able to grab it later and put it back on the skillet. Right. Like I don't have a problem shifting my focus for what I need to focus on. I like right now the trailer's kind of like on the back burner, just because we have so much with the convention that came and went, and now we have other things that we want to implement from the convention. So like there's other things that are a little more pressing, but it's not like that sucker's not sitting back here in the back of my brain going, come on, play with me, do the RV, come on. So like it's there. It's just I'm also not as young as I used to be, so I can't like work till like midnight on the RV and expect to walk away from it like, you know, feeling all chipper and good. I used to be able to do that, and I really can't anymore. So there's a little bit different in my physical ability. And if I want to save money on the RV, I gotta do a lot of physical in order to sweat equity, in order to not put as much financial equity into it, right?
Yeah.
So like I know when I guess I do focus on things, but I can pull back. I can pull back and focus on other things. What's pertinent at the time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
What's your next big thing you think that will be a slow and grow, like something that you took from the convention that you just mentioned that you guys just went to in Dallas?
Yeah. So one of the things that we found there was it was a lot about, and actually I'll make mention of it because I'm going to try and entice him on. So Chuck Violand, it's the he runs a company that talks about managing your business, managing your people, things of that nature. So had a great couple of presentations, and I really pulled a lot of good nuggets out of that. It's interesting. He's got a model, and you might find a similar like concept to mine to my machine. Mine's a little more hyper focused on the business itself and the service, but his is an overall picture of the business. But I really like the way he talks about it. So there's some things in there that I want to implement, and they won't be something it's going to be something that takes a little while, takes some time to get going. But once we kind of say we're doing it, then it'll be we're off and running. I don't think it'll be a churn and burn. It's definitely something we got to slowly work into, but it's a lot of like the management stuff, keeping our guys on task. When we hire people, making sure that they're well trained right away and being more efficient in those kind of things. There's ways to train them to be more efficient. So that's our goal, is to get people to get our training and our efficiencies as best as possible.
So if you had to put a percentage on it, how would you rate your percentage? Because I feel like there's a time and place for a churn and burn, and there's a time and place for a slow and grow.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like a good mix of that really kind of makes a successful business and keeps things moving along. So what percentage of it do you think for you personally you kind of emphasize on each one of those?
Personally, for myself,
right,
I think I am I'd want to say if I'm not 50-50, I'm going to be really, really close to that.
It can't be 50-50. That's a cop out.
No,
that's
it's
like
not.
giving somebody like a
No, it's
2.5 on a 5 rating.
That's not a cop out. That's
Yes,
halfway.
it is.
It's halfway. I'm halfway. I don't lean towards. I like the slow and grow, but slow and steady. I like that. But I also, as you know, am a very wiry and let's move, let's go. So like.
Fine, then I'll give a real answer. I am 80-20. I am
80 what?
80 slow and grow, 20 churn and burn. Even though I'm a hyper person and I'm confident, I can't mentally like cope with the burn. Like I can't cope with it. Like it eats at me, and I would rather.
What burn are we talking about?
But like like if I have like a high turnover of clients, or I have a high turnover of employees, and I don't have that retention percentage with regards to both of those components, which are very valuable in my industry, I mentally will have a nervous breakdown over
You're
it.
looking at it from an employee,
like a negative
employee
thing,
perspective.
Well, I mean, what do you mean?
What's the holistic of it? Like, what's holistically? I think you'd be more closer to the middle when it comes holistically. Yeah, because like there's certain things that you're like, what the fuck? I don't care. I'm doing this because that's what I do. Yeah, and you don't care, but like that to me is.
But that's not gonna. But it's not gonna end in a burn though. Like I feel like if it's a churn and burn, like I feel like
isn't burn
like for me,
I
more look at churn and burn in, I guess, more of a negative context than I do a positive. And I feel like there's certain things that make sense. Like you have to do it to get your name out there, and the branding and the marketing, and like I get all of those components of it.
Yeah.
And I understand that you're gonna kind of light some money on fire, but the results are ultimately going to be fruitful long term.
Can anybody give us a churn and burn example? And burn being, to me, being like peeling out your tires, right? You're churning and burning, right? Like you can burn in a good way.
You see like that. Yeah, right. That's where we were differing, like in the green room, and when we brought up this topic, is that like you have more of a positive like note and context for the churn and burn, and you look at it more from an operational perspective of like cranking out jobs. Like you guys had that influx, and you just boom, got it all done.
Yep.
And like me, I look at it like that the burn is what's going to, like, you're lighting money on fire, or you are, you know, have a high turnover of clientele, or
Right.
like your retention levels are affected
A
by
low
that.
ROI,
Yeah.
low margins.
So like
Yeah,
it's not like
yeah, yeah.
all bad. Like I do see the value in it, but that's why I value it more like around 20-25%. And I more like the slow grow. But Rich would be more like you, where he would probably put it more in the 50-50, 60-40 kind of range, because he looks at it more from an operational perspective of I could
get this
do
done. Let's go.
like
Let's
this,
go.
this, and this. Let's
Yeah.
move on from it, and now we're gonna do this, this, and that.
Right.
And
Right.
I can't, like, I will dwell on like the thing, and it like makes it like almost impossible to go like from that area. We got oh man, we missed a whole bunch of comments.
All right, Derek. Derek says, I've never seen Joe slow and steady with anything. Believe it or not, Derek, I can. Sharon Decker, I don't believe that level stuff. What level? Which level were you talking about? That was a while ago. I'm sorry, we've fallen behind here. And then
I think that's Gary, maybe. Yeah, that's Gary.
Yeah, Gary. Morning from Singapore. Morning, Gary. Eating burritos with California Reapers will give you a churn and burn. Yes, they will, Gary. That is so true.
I don't know. I think my aunt, so Sharon's my aunt, and I think that she doesn't agree potentially with my 80-20 split.
I told you.
Because
that
I'm a very
I'm calling
hyper
bullshit.
fast-paced person, but like personally in my personal world, I'm a very different person. Like I am totally a leap before I look kind of person in my personal world, but business, I am so risk adverse. It is so interestingly weird when you put me in both those situations. It's almost like there's two, yeah, see,
Turn and burn level. Yeah. I that's what I have to disagree, because you can make decisions quick enough, and you're like, I don't care. I'm doing this. And you even say it faster than you normally talk. Like when you say something that you're like, nope, it's this way. But like you're it's like somebody clicks the ×2 button when they're watching a video, and then you're through it. You're like, what just happened? Nope, Steph made a decision. All right, it's over. So I have to agree with your aunt, and disagree with you.
Yeah.
What time is it? Oh,
we have 3 minutes
ish, 2.5 ish. Yeah. All right. Mom, can you start it all over? I missed the whole show today. Oh, Mom. Sure, we'll start over. Kent's not here, so we can do whatever we want.
Well, the next show isn't on until 8:00, so
we got hours to go, Mom. Come on, fly in, Mom. We'll still be on. All right, Sharon. Brian also says BS for your churn and burn level. Wow, you're getting called out.
Brian's my cousin.
Left and right.
So Brian, my cousin, is the one I showed you, my new baby cousin. That's the daddy.
Oh, okay, sweet. Nice to meet you, Brian.
Yeah, I showed everybody baby Eliza at the networking thing on Wednesday. So
that's right. I'm just happy that everybody agrees with me, because I feel like I've known you long enough. Because I
feel like they're looking at it like from a personal like perspective, like, and how I am in my personal life.
But your personal spills over into work.
Like,
you still make snappy, fast decisions, even though you may not think about it. You do. You still.
I guess maybe I just need to stop, like, take the negative like context I have in my mind about turn and burn out, and then maybe I could be more realistic in my
maybe
my
it's
life
that, like,
environment.
if you're like, oh, I got burned on this, that was a churn and burn decision. Oh, this worked out, it was a slow and steady growth. Right? What?
That's so bogus, Derek.
Derek, from taxes to cookie shop stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. I guess Derek has a point that yes. I decided that that maybe taxes were a little, I personally feel the same way about them that I did before I started offering tax services, and a cookie shop did sound appealing, and yes, I did put an application in. So
yeah. Sharon, while we do believe that snap decisions are not necessarily churn and burn, sometimes we overlook our snap decisions, and and make some decisions that would be considered
Ooh,
churn and burn.
what holidays in Singapore right now? We should. Gary's inviting us out to Singapore. We could do a live show
it's
from
not
Singapore.
the New Year in it's not the New Year. What's the holiday, Gary? But I think we got to wrap it up, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
All right.
So I guess we'll give a shout out one more time to
Yep.
Epic Media as we're going into the weekend.
All right, ready? You want me to do it?
Yep. I'm gonna put it up there.
Give me something to read.
Okay.
There we go. When you're truly authentic, there can be no competitors. With the continued growth of technology these days, it is essential that you have an effective internet marketing strategy in place for your business. Whether you need a custom website designed or help integrating your social media accounts with your business marketing program, epicmediainc.com is the place to go for all your marketing, networking, or marketing internet needs, I guess you could say. epicmediainc.com. And I'm Joe Turner, Restoration One, water, fire, smoke, mold, trauma, crime, board up, all the gross stuff. 847-264-4664.
Steph Conley with Steph's Bookkeeping Service, 847-942-3004. Have a good weekend. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.